The big story at this hour, former US President Donald Trump has left from Florida for New York City, where he will be at the Trump Tower ahead of his scheduled arraignment related to the hush money paid to a porn star before the 2016 election. As security has been tightened in Manhattan, now the Secret Service has also been roped in for security purposes. In fact, details that are coming in suggest that they will be escorting the former president to the courtroom before the judge. This will be on Tuesday as the former president Donald Trump appears in the hush money case before the judge for the first time. The specific charges against him will be read out during this period. When he appears before the judge, his fingerprints will be taken, his mugshot will be taken. However, he is not going to be handcuffed. Those are the details that are coming in, and he will immediately then be escorted to the judge, where the charges will be read out against him, after which he will plead not guilty before the judge. But the trial is going to take longer than what one would really expect, or the fact that it may cast a shadow over his candidature as the presidential candidate for the Republicans for 2024. That's because we'll just take you through the serial of the steps that will take place. Now, first of all, the arraignment that we're talking about here, Donald Trump will appear before the judge. As I pointed out, for the first time, Trump is going to plead not guilty. The trial could go on well beyond the presidential election 2024. It could take over 2 years from indictment to the trial verdict. If we look at the average from 2022 in the Manhattan court, it's taken about 900 days, as is being reported, for the period between indictment and the trial verdict. So it's well beyond the elections. However, the problem and the unprecedented situation before the US at this point in time is, first of all, he is the first former president against whom one is seeing criminal charges rather. If he is elected as the president, he will be a president on trial. And even if he is elected the president, he cannot pardon himself of state charges. So all these are really first unprecedented situation that the US is witnessing. Let me bring in our two guests who are joining us here on the show this tonight. Ajay Jain, he's a Biden supporter, vice chair of Presidential Inaugural Committee, AAPI leadership and National Finance Committee member, Biden for President 2020. And Anand Ahuja, Trump supporter, attorney at law. He's also joining us here. Anand Ahuja, I want to come first to you. What are we expecting when Donald Trump appears before the judge? Are we expecting his supporters to step out on the streets? Because we are seeing a lot of security arrangements that have been put in place.
Yes, definitely. Supporters, including ex-Vice President Mike Pence, has stated that he will be there, and a lot of Republican lawmakers will be there, a lot of Trump supporters will be there, and I don't expect any violent kind of demonstrations there. Most of the time it will be very peaceful. But yes, to respond to your question, there will be a big crowd of Donald Trump supporters outside the courtroom tomorrow.
All right. Ajay Jain, in this specific case, Donald Trump is saying that this is a sort of persecution, that he's being persecuted, and that this is more of a political case against him. Can this change the nature of the race to 2024?
Thank you. I mean, the indictment of former President Trump is a significant moment in our nation's history. It serves as a reminder that no one, regardless of their position or power, is above the law. It's a testament to the strength and resilience of our democracy that our justice system can hold even the highest office in the land accountable for their action. This indictment also highlights the importance of transparency and accountability in the government, and the American people have the right to know truth about what happened and to hold those responsible for any wrongdoing. At the same time, the President Trump has we must ensure the legal process is fair and impartial, and the accused, including former President Trump, have the right to due process and a fair trial. We must trust in the judicial system and allow it to do so. a job free from political interference or bias.
So, Anand Ahuja, even though you're saying that his supporters will be out there trying to give him moral support, but at the end of the day, what is the thought among the Republicans? Because we've seen them not outrightly backing Donald Trump, but rather attacking the judicial system there, if I'm getting it correct. Is there some sort of hesitation among the Republicans as well over this issue?
No, I'm sorry to say your assessment is not correct. In fact, the general opinion, not only amongst Republicans, but even Democrats, top leader, if you see the ex-governor of New York, statements, even Democrats, they feel that this is a political witch hunt. This is a total misuse of powers. It's un-American and political prosecution. If you see the details of the case, first of all, the case has been built upon the testimony of a disgruntled ex-attorney of Donald Trump. So if you see from that particular angle, even if you see it's a witness credibility is at issue, then the issue is that Department of Justice as well as Federal Election Commission earlier stated on the same charges that Donald Trump has not committed any crime. There is absolutely no violation as far as federal law enforcement agencies are concerned. New York District Attorney Alan Bragg took more than 1 year, spent taxpayers' money on this particular issue just to investigate this case time and again. He could not find any evidence, but ultimately he built up this case just because of the testimony, as I said, of a uncreditable witness, Michael Cohen, who was actually ex-attorney of Donald Trump. Michael Cohen's statement is that earlier in 2016, he appeared before the Congress and he said very clearly at that time that this money was paid by me without the knowledge of my client, Donald Trump. So if attorney exceeds his or her limits, I can quote that under New York ethics rules, attorney has given a very expressed and limited authority by one's client. So the authority which a client gives, attorney under no circumstances exceed that authority.
Okay,
so,
all right. Let me go across to Ajay Jain now, because there are 2 points here. First, in some manner or the other, the judiciary is coming under the scanner here. One, that in the run-up to 2024 presidential elections, and the second point, with Donald Trump calling this persecution, could he use it politically to his advantage? Are the Democrats worried about that? Both the aspects. Respond to that, Ajay Jain.
Yeah. Presidency of Donald Trump was marked by division and discord. Trump's indictment is a stark reminder of the damage he inflicted on our country. He turned Americans against each other, and his actions resulted in the deadly insurrection of the Capitol on January 6th. It's time for accountability and for healing.
But sir, that is a totally different case. If you are seeking accountability, then that is a different case from the present case that we're talking about.
Totally, I agree. Those are two separate cases. What I'm trying to say is that it's important. The indictment of a former president is a serious matter. It's also important that we approach it with the respect to the rule of the law and the principles of democracy, and let the justice system do its due course.
No, are the Democrats worried that even despite the fact that this may look on the face of it an embarrassment for Donald Trump, an embarrassment for a person who has held the high office of the President of the United States, at the end of the day, in 2024, in the run-up to 2024, he could use it politically?
I mean, he can say whatever he wants to say. Ultimately, it's up to the people of America to decide and to see what actions he has done, and decide on that. They will decide their vote.
All right. Anand Ahuja, is there some amount of discomfort, though you are disagreeing with my assessment there, among the Republicans? Because as we see now, the primaries go ahead. There will be candidates opposing Donald Trump within the Republicans who might use this against him to pitch their candidature.
If you see the poll numbers of Donald Trump after this indictment has gone up. So from that particular point of view, even if you see the fundraising also, within 24 hours of indictment when was announced, Donald Trump raised more than $5 million for his election campaign. So if you see from that particular angle, in fact, even those Republicans who were initially hesitant to support Donald Trump, now they are behind Donald Trump because they know that this is a political prosecution. It's a political persecution. Democrats, they are misusing American judicial system. As I said earlier also, that the case has been built upon a false narrative without any convincing evidence and just to gain a political advantage. The Democrat strategy here is that they will have Donald Trump's pictures taken, Donald Trump's mugshots and his pictures appearing in the courtroom, put on all their election campaign material, including T-shirts, banners, and everywhere, just to convince independent voters that, look here, you cannot vote this particular candidate whose pictures are appearing with this mugshot everywhere. So that's the strategy actually
All right.
the Democrats now playing. Just one second, I'd like to add. Because as you know, that economy is bad, crime has gone so up in the United States, especially in New York. Democrats, they do not have, and if you see Ukraine war, internationally, United States has lost its reputation it used to have once upon a time. So Democrats under President Biden, they have absolutely no positive message to convey to electorates other than now to adopt this strategy.
So we'll leave it at that, Anand Ahuja, also because I believe it is against the law for that mugshot which you're talking about to be leaked. And I think that is why they are at the moment even not decided on the fact whether that mugshot will be taken tomorrow or not, or they'll only leave it at the fingerprints. But we'll get to know all that tomorrow as the former president will present himself before the judge in the hush money case for the first time after being indicted. Many thanks, both the gentlemen, for joining us here, Anand Ahuja and Ajay Jain, for joining us here on this discussion from the US.